But first, are Gen Z workers lazy, disrespectful, unreliable? Or are they unfairly maligned? That's a debate that's raging after a fed-up business owner posted this sign on his shop front in Indiana, which has gone viral. He wrote, "I apologise for us closing again. My 2 new cashiers quit because I said their boyfriends couldn't stand here for their entire shift. Don't hire Gen Zs. They don't know what work actually means. Now hiring baby boomers only." Joining me now is author and senior fellow at the Australian Catholic University, Kevin Donnelly. Kevin, thank you for joining me. This viral sign has sparked a debate, and I've got to say, I hear similar complaints from business owners here in Australia saying younger workers aren't committed to the job, they don't have the coping skills to deal with any level of criticism. So this is a common complaint. But are we being unfair? Because when we talk about Gen Z, we are talking about people up to 24, so they're fairly young.
Well, when you look at this, and it's quite timely, I was down the Mornington Peninsula yesterday, and we went to a couple of restaurants, some of the vineyards. All of them are having trouble getting young people. And, you know, if you're 20, 24, 25, if you're at university, even, some, when I was at school, senior school, I worked a couple of hours on the weekend or looked for part-time work. But on the peninsula, they were saying it's a real problem. And where I live, in Balwyn, I live in Surrey Hills, but Balwyn is a shopping centre, I had a long chat to a business owner, and he was telling me, especially boys, he mentioned, and this is anecdotal, that they only want to work 3 or 4 hours over 5 days. They want to choose the hours that they work and the days that they work. And often, if you do employ them, after a month or two, they move on because they're not concentrating, they're not doing a good job, or they just want to go to the beach and relax.
Now, I spoke earlier in the program to Douglas Murray about the war on the West. I know it's a topic you're passionate about, and you argue to defend Western civilization and Western values, we must defend Christianity. Explain that to me.
There's a new book coming out in about a month, and there are a series of articles, 11 chapters rather, and we talk about what underpins Western culture, Western civilization. And one of the really concrete examples that I talk about is what's happening in the Ukraine, because there's a strong Christian element to the Orthodox Church in the Ukraine, and the church there and the archbishops are really getting into the debate about trying to protect Ukraine from Russia. And we take it for granted in Australia. It's like the air we breathe. We think we've got this...
But what about the argument that one of the things that is unique about the West and well, perhaps not unique, but that is admirable about the West is the secular nature of our societies. So is defending Christianity really falling into line with that?
It's a good point to make. I often, in reply, say, well, look, we are secular to a degree, but we're not secular like, say, Iran or Saudi Arabia. We are a secular society. But even if you look at our constitution, the preamble, the way parliaments begin, there's reference to the Lord's Prayer, Almighty God. In America, obviously, they talk about life, liberty, pursuit of happiness being God-given. Yeah. So we are secular, but our political, our legal, our literature, our art, our music, underpinned by Christianity. And the problem we're having, as Douglas Murray argues, is that we're committing suicide, cultural suicide, by denying our heritage. We accept Aborigines should be acknowledged. Why don't we accept the West?
Western heritage. Interesting point. Now, lastly, it is Anzac Day and there are football matches across the country, and the AFL do a very good job of commemorating this very important day. But I must say, it is disappointing to see so many players fail to sing the anthem, Kevin. It's just disappointing, particularly after all the acknowledgement of Anzac Day and the importance of what it means to this country, and then you play the national anthem and they just stand there.
We've golden soil and wealth for toil. Our home is girt by sea of beauty rich and rare.
it's really an example of how culture has changed. And when I grew up many years ago, we actually did, and people laugh when I tell them, we did an oath of allegiance in all the schools around Australia, certainly Victoria, and we would pledge an oath to God and country, honour the flag, serve the Queen, and obey our parents, teachers and the law, which is probably a good thing. But that went out the window 40, 50 years ago. And the problem now is a lot of younger people don't have that understanding. It's disappointing because you'd think on Anzac Day, when we're remembering and commemorating those hundreds and hundreds of thousands of Australians, men and women, who've suffered and died to protect our liberties and freedom, we should not take it for granted.
No, I'm not suggesting the players take it for granted, but this lack of patriotism on such a special day, I don't know, it always just rubs me up the wrong way. Dr. Kevin Donnelly, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you, Rita.